I mean, is there a
Back to square
WhatsApp
one
group
again.
for this, sir?
Yes.
Oh, no, foul. Wait. I spent
Okay, so let's continue. I'll give a few um concepts of what a cloud computing is. So I'll be making use of Microsoft Slide to explain some of these concepts. Though I will not take much of our time today, then we'll stop so we can go back to those that are having issues. At least the maybe 20 minutes or 30 minutes to the end of the class, then we can attend to them. Because I will not want this to start coming up tomorrow. I will not be available tomorrow. Somebody else will be taking you, and the person might not have time for all this back and front that everybody have been doing here again and again. Okay, I believe everybody can see my screen. So if you see the outline we have here, cloud computing. What is cloud computing? Shared responsibility, cloud models, and so we'll stop at uh, capital versus operational costing for today. As I said, this might be the only part of the training that might involve um, any form of slide, because what we have here is just introduction to give us a background knowledge before we proceed into other things that might take much of our attention, a lot of English than we expect. So I prefer explaining it than reading out definitions. Definitions get me bored. You remember when we were defining cloud computing, what what did I said cloud computing was? A delivery of computer services over the internet. So if you look at the screen now, if you have your mobile phone without data, I can boldly tell you that most of us will tell you there is no use of the phone. Meanwhile, the main purpose of our phone before now is just to receive calls, make calls, send text messages. But now there is more value or more functions to the phone than just calling and receiving calls. So you see a lot of people, they won't go as far as starving themselves to get data to on their mobile, so they'll be able to connect to the internet. So if you stop at computing, then you are not yet in the cloud. You are not yet in the cloud. I can have my computer at home without internet. As a matter of fact, without internet, to get to a point, all the software I have on my system will become outdated, even the drivers, because it's not connected to the internet. So if anytime you are asked definition of cloud computing, especially if you go for an interview, always remember internet. Internet is what brings everything together. You know, earlier Mr. Abib mentioned that cloud is, I think, something that is high. He mentioned something like that. So the reason why they call it cloud is this: every country you go to, irrespective of the country, so far you are under this earth, there is what? There is cloud. There is cloud, which means anywhere you are over the world, so far you have internet, there are some resources that everybody can do what? Can have access to, irrespective of your location at that moment. So far you have internet, you have a computing system, you have network, then you can do what? You can have access to those datas. And finally, on our screen, you can see we have storage. We have storage. Those information you are trying to access, it is actually stored somewhere. So what your computer is doing is, from your computer, you are trying to, if you see most time on your phone, you see that the internet, it shows two arrow. One is facing up, one is facing down. And for those that have done speed test very well, if you use speedtest.net, you see upload and download. So if you have your traffic going out and nothing is coming in, you will see that you still don't do what? You can't connect to the internet because your information is actually going out, but it's not receiving an answer. It's like me coming to this place now and start shouting, Diwura, Diwura, Diwura. You know, it sounds somehow because I'm not getting any response. But if I mention Diwura and she answered from her end, then that is I've forgotten what is called in communication. So that is a complete communication. But if I have to wait and I did not get any response, I've not communicated anything, just like the issue we are having now. Despite I screamed, I explained again and again. So some people still decide to do what they want, which means I have not communicated anything. But if I pass the information and you act on it, then I have communicated something. So you can see the arrow from our networking. Traffic is going out and traffic is coming back in, which means I've sent I believe wherever I will take us networking, we explain that aspect very well. So I've sent information out to do what? To receive something. So by the time I send my information out and I was able to get the information I needed, I would say, okay, I have access to this data. So the storage can be somewhere, anywhere in the world. Once you have internet, you have access to that storage. Some of us can create a Google file now. Maybe you have your videos in your Google Work Drive. You can share it with a friend in the US. Aside from that, I believe most of us we know Movie Box, what is it called, Netflix and others. Do you know where Netflix stores? If I should ask average people, do you know where Netflix stores those movies you are watching? You don't know. All you know is you have a smart gadget with you connected to the internet. Once you search for your video, you get the video you want and you do what? You watch it. So that is the concept of cloud computing. And before now, before now, you see if you want to go for, let me say, church service, um, a lot of events, you have to be there physically to attend those events. But now, a lot of people tell you, no, I will join online. We have a lot of marriages that were done online. Maybe the husband is somewhere in Europe or in the US and the wife is in Nigeria, or the wife is somewhere in the US, the husband is in Nigeria, and they did the wedding online. Everything was done online. So that's the form of what? Cloud computing. I don't want to be speaking complex English, so that's why I'm bringing it down to our level. So another concept of cloud computing that I'll just chip in again then before we proceed.
Chicken again. Oh,
I'm getting echo from somewhere.
yes, like,
So before now, if you gain admission into the university or you travel out of the country, the only place you can reach out to your parents is via um, Nine Post. I don't know if any of us know what Nine Post is, especially the Gen Z. So you write letter, take it to the post office, then they mail it to that person. And at times that might take maybe 2 months, 3 months. Somebody was sharing his experience with me. He said when his dad died, before they buried the dad, they went to the post office, wrote letter. He was in school. So they sent letter to him. He was schooling in the north. I think the parents stay somewhere in Delta or Edo. So they sent letter to him that your father is dead. Please come home so that he can be part of the burial. He got it 4 months after the letter was sent. After 4 months, he got home. They buried the man. They've done everything they needed to do. They were thinking the guy don't want to come for the burial or others. Meanwhile, that was when Nine Post did what? Delivered that letter. Also, I think there was an advancement at a stage Then you have to go to polling booth. That's a phoning booth. Sorry, I think then there were we have some set at TBS for those in Lagos. You go there, then you go to this. You put I think coin in it. Then you turn the numbers. Prrr, prrr, prrr. Then later we started having those phone at home. For those of us that were in those generation, our parents guided that phone with their life. You dare not touch it. The phone asks they will key the phone, they will lock it when they are going out so that Nitel don't remove all their money at the end of the month. So, but now, while you are in school, you can communicate directly to your parents. You can move around, call them on video call, communicate with them as if they were with you. You can even send anything you want to send. Now you can send money without having going to bank to go and deposit, and you can send from any bank to any bank. Then it was not like that. I remember those days. They will tell you, my dad told us that we should go and open Savannah Bank because he's using Savannah Bank. So all the money will be sent from Savannah Bank. Then advancement came, started using bank drafts. They give us bank drafts to go and pay our school fees. So what am I saying? They were manual way of doing things before now, but cloud computing came in and everything was put in the cloud. Then people have um, access to those things and makes life much more better, much more better. So that is the concept of um, cloud computing. So don't forget, anytime you are defining cloud computing, just put it in your English. Remember internet, remember computer, and remember storage. Once you are able to bring those three things together, you'll be able to define cloud computing. So let us proceed. So we have private cloud. We have private cloud. People will be wondering what is private cloud for some people. The same sky we are seeing over our head. So the private cloud is like, let me put it now. I want to put it in a way we understand. Okay, the private car is like owning your own car. You know, you put your plate number, you put everything, you decide who to pick, who to splash water, to shout on while you are in traffic and others, because you do what? You own your car. You own your car. So a private cloud is having your own infrastructure, having your own private infrastructure. I'm trying to just bring out an organization in Nigeria that we can just make use of that is much more easier or around the world. Okay, so let's make use of data Meta, sorry, that is Facebook. So um before now, Facebook were sharing, if you go and read about them, they were sharing their data with some other companies, organization were providing them with the cloud they needed. But later they did what? They have their own cloud, though is a form of public cloud now, not private. However, they created their own complete infrastructures. I want to see an organization within Nigeria that is offering services like that.
Can use
I'm not
MTN.
sure. MTN is public.
Okay. But within their organization, within themselves.
What is it?
Like within their organization, there are some things they don't share outside that they are like now. MTN South Africa can communicate with MTN Nigeria within their cloud space.
Yes, you know why I call it public. Have you noticed that once MTN network is bad, most Nigerian network are bad? What happened? So indirectly, you might think you are using Airtel, but Airtel are getting their bandwidth from MTN or from what is it called now, Main One. Are you getting all these concepts? So in your own way, you are using Airtel, but indirectly the backbone is what is on MTN. So that's why I said is not actually a private cloud. is this a form of public cloud. But on this concept, what we are trying to say is like the way Microsoft have their own cloud and Google now. If you have the money and the infrastructure, also you can do what? You can do the same thing. If you have the money, you can do the same thing. I just believe one day Nigeria will get to that stage that almost all the government offices will have their own private clouds to store information. So we'll not be having a lot of excuses that we get. I know those in Nigeria understand what I am saying. So we'll not be getting those excuses. So a private cloud is having your own money to do what? To set up your own infrastructure in the cloud. It belongs to me. So if you look at the diagram we have, you can see this is a private company. You can see the private company that owns it. You can see if you look at the line, it started from somewhere. Can you see? Then it goes to the cloud. Me and my organization. So if you look at the explanation on the screen, also said it all without having to say much. Organizations are responsible for operating the services they provided. They do not provide access to users outside of their organization. Outside of the organization. For those that have been working with companies, there are some application you can't have access to it outside the organization. For you to be able to have access to it, then you have to on your VPN for you to be able to access those applications. I know we'll get there with time, so we understand what I'm trying to explain. For IT guys, they will say those application is not facing the internet. So for you to be able to use the application to face the internet, there are some configurations that need to be done. So which means the company did what? They have their own private cloud that only internal users can do what? Can have access to it. So let's go to the next one. Public cloud. Public cloud. So the cloud service or hosting provider now, how should I put it? As I explained earlier, I needed I have files of 10 gig and I need people to have access to that file, or I have files of about 50 gig, maybe like Netflix. I'm sure Netflix will be in terabytes. Only God knows how many bytes these videos will be. So let me say, okay, I want to host my friends on the cloud. I have videos of about 50 gig and I want to put it in the cloud so that everybody can have access to it. There are some Telegram channel. If you go there, you see a lot of videos. You can download it directly without having to go online to start searching for anything. So I want to do the same thing. I want to put all my information together, all the videos together, sorry, in a storage so that everybody can have access to it. And I don't have money to start hosting a database, sorry, a data center to put all these things. So I have to look for a public cloud service provider, maybe like AWS, Google, Microsoft, and others. I think in Nigeria we even have, is it Bluehost? I think so. So I put those information there. They provide everything I needed to put the information. And after putting the information, my own is my information must be secure. So now they have the physical infrastructure. If you see where I think some of Microsoft database center, they are under the water. I think there was one time ago that a lot of video was going around that their database under the water, they brought it out, this or that. If you see all those places that those data are kept, they are secure. They are secure like World Bank. When I was even reading about it, where those data are kept, Microsoft data are kept in US. There are some data center you can't even come close. If you come close to it, you'll be gone down. there are distance that is needed from where the data center is to where there's a lot of restrictions around there. So instead of me going to create, for those that have worked with data center before, you see that you need power to keep running it. There are a lot of things. It must not go off. There will be physical security to secure what is there. There will be guys in case anything goes down or there's any issue. There will be guys to go there to fix it. So all that headache is not for me to bear. So my own is they have the cloud. I pay for it. I put my information. I share it with whoever wants to share it with. So that is public cloud. Okay, public cloud just like entering public transport, entering a bus. You know, if Agbero hold down, or what is it called now, NERTW, if they hold down your bus and it's staying too long, you are running out of time, you can even shout, "Conductor, give me my money." You collect your money and board the what, the next bus, and do what, and go, because whatever that happens to the car is none of your own headache. Or maybe you have flat tire, or Lagos traffic, you just hit somebody's bumper or vendor and there's issue, the tire is changing, I'll take it to the police station, I'll do this. He can do what, he can abandon that bus and join what, the next bus, because whatever that happens to that bus is none of your own headache. You are not responsible for that bus. Your own is you find yourself in the bus, now you can alight and do what, and move on. The same way that the bus can crash and can get injured and others, the public cloud too can crash and you lost your datas. But not now, though it was before now. So that is that on public cloud. So let's talk about the last one. Then give room for questions. Then before we proceed again. So now we have the hybrid cloud. I have money to set up my own cloud, and yet I still want to make use of public cloud. Do you get it? I have my own money to run my own private cloud, but I still want to put some informations in the what, in public cloud. So let me give us example. Do you know that Nigeria, what is it called now, governing body does not allow users, your customers, or let me just put customers now, or your clients' data to be in the cloud, to be on public cloud. So if you are running hospital, you are an ISP, I think government organizations and others, you can't put users' information in public cloud. So let's assume this is our organization at the right hand, which is the private cloud. It is owned. It is owned by who should I use now? It's owned by the Oswald International. So the Oswald kept all those datas here, all those datas that are not allowed to be put in the private public cloud here, in the image you have at my right hand side of the screen. However, the other side is a public cloud. So Oswald now wants to allow application to run in that location. Maybe they have users or contractors into US they are working with. So they need to host some applications there on that particular cloud so that those contractor can do what, can work with it. So now also you have to partner or go for a public cloud, pay them for their service, get whatever storage they needed, and do what, and go ahead, Or let me put it this way: we want to host a Black Friday. And we'll be expecting maybe like um let's say 10 million people. We are expecting like 10 million people. Then I now say I want to put those users in my private cloud. Now there is no restriction. There is no governing body that is holding me down. But I now said I want to put them in my private cloud, which means I will need to get additional infrastructures to do what? To do that, which will cost me more money. But don't forget, we are doing Black Friday. Highest a Black Friday will last maybe a month, right? And most Black Friday is just one day. They just pick one day or 3 days. Then that is all. Now imagine I now went to purchase infrastructures that about 10 million can use just for 3 days event. Then after the third day, what happened? Those infrastructure will be useless, even if I decide to be using it. So by the time I wait for the next Black Friday, which will be next year, there's chances that before then there are some of the gadgets or some of the equipment that will be obsolete already. Now I need to get another new set of what gadget again for Black Friday. You will see that economically it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense when I can just go to a cloud service provider, tell them what I want. I pay for it for just that 3 days. I do what? I host my application or do whatever I want to do there. Then after the 3 days, I shut it down, get any information I want, then we move on. You can see that that is more cost effective than going to get infrastructures that I'll put in my own place running for 1 year or leaving them obsolete in my organization. So I don't know if there's any question before we proceed. Any question before we proceed? Any question?
Mr. Lajide, can you please explain the hybrid cloud again? Sorry.
Okay. Any other question?
There
There are
are
questions on the
question
chat.
in the chat.
Somewhat?
Questions in the chat box.
Oh, check. Mr. Rajkubo, yes. Uh, Joe, no. Azure is not a private cloud, it's a public cloud. That's why I can go there, host your, what is it called? Host your virtual machine, host your VNet, host anything you want to host there and pay Microsoft. So aside from that, so um okay, let me put it this way. We said private cloud is like owning your own car. And we said public cloud is joining a public transport. That is what do we call it in Lagos? Danfo, Korope, tricycle, keke. All those ones they are what? So for your private cloud, which is your car that you own, you are responsible for whatever that happens to it. If that car breaks down at the middle of the road, you can't leave it there and say, I'm going home. Can't leave it there. So if the car crash or the car just there is issue with somebody else in traffic, you have to do what? Settle it. You can't say, okay, take my car, I'm going home. So which means you are responsible for whatever that happens to that car because you do what? You own it. Meanwhile, your public transport, if there is flat tire, you can tell them, conductor, owó mi dà, èmi ń lọ o. Conductor, you are wasting my time. I want to do what? Join another bus. Or conductor will stop some buses, ask you to do what? Follow those bus, maybe 1, 2, 3, so he's able to discharge the entire passengers because it's none of your business. Whatever that happens to that bus after joining on another one is none of your own business. Your own is to get to your destination. So now on the hybrid cloud, you can call it let's call it Uber. Uber is not a private car, and it's not public transport. It's a commercial way of commuting, but however, it's not like our normal public bus that you enter with 5, 10 people together. So this is what I was explaining earlier. So for the hybrid now, you have both the private cloud and you have the public cloud. So I was using Black Friday as example. Mm, I'm looking at, okay, let's assume this company that we have here. The company we have here is Jumia. We all know Jumia do Black Friday, I think November, December. So now Jumia wants to do Black Friday, which means there will be a lot of traffic on their site. There will be a lot of traffic. And the infrastructure they have here is just for their own users, for their own personal use and services. Maybe they have like, let me say 1,000 staffs or 1,000 users or infrastructure. People that the traffic they expected here daily max is 1,000. Now they want to do Black Friday. If Jumia is doing Black Friday, especially there is one, they will tell you, see, is there what is it called now? iPhone. That you check something, then you see iPhone, which means there will be a lot of traffic on their site. That particular day. So now Jumia will not go to the market and get additional infrastructures. I don't want to start calling things names since you have not been introduced to those things. So that's why I'm using normal Lima English. So you will not go, you will not go to the market and tell HP or IBM, okay, give us a server. We are buying a server. We are buying some switches. We are buying a new set of rack and others to do what. And don't forget, because of this part of the world, you will still need to source of electricity. Then you still get to pay security guys, because now the equipment you are buying, if you go and check how much is Dell or IBM server, you can Google it. Dell, IBM, and HP servers, then you know how much each of them cost. So they needed security to do what? To guard those servers. So now you are paying for additional servers, you are paying for security, you are paying for electricity, you'll be paying for coolers, that is AC and other things to cool the servers and others. So why do that when you have public cloud that you can just you can meet for that 3 days you are doing your Black Friday. So Jumia can now reach out now to AWS or Google. Okay, we want to deploy a server with you, Google, and the server will be just for 3 days. So Google already have it in their cloud. Everything is there. I'm just saying it like so that we can understand. So they will choose the specification. How many gig do we want? Where do we want it to reside? What Based on what they want to use it for, will now determine the specification and everything they will set up on Google end. So Google is the one that will be responsible for any other thing at his own end. So we'll still get to that place. You will see what each person will be responsible for, what you will be responsible for, what the person will do, what will be responsible for. So instead of you that you have your own infrastructure here, all this money you are spending here to for power, for electric security, to update your stuff, the patch and others. Once you come to cloud to host all those things, it's none of your headache. Google will do what? Will do everything for you. So the application that you'll be using now for the Black Friday and everything, you can decide to host it in cloud. You can host everything here. So once the traffic is coming, Now you expect 10 million people. So you've come to the cloud, get all the infrastructure needed for 10 million people. Then you are what? You are fine. Um, if some people will bear me witness, I will not want to mention any government organization, you will see that once there is traffic, maybe once you get to that time of the year that maybe people need to do some registration, pull some data from there, do some other things, you will hear that, oh, the server is not reachable. Or when a lot of people are trying to reach it at the same time, you start getting different error. Then it comes to who has the best network, who has the best device, will be the one to do what? To have um access to that file, while others with maybe bad network, um, outdated device, and others will be struggling to do what? To reach it. And at times you might have everything, but because the traffic is much, the traffic that comes to this place daily is 1,000. All of a sudden, 10 million people wants to access it at the same time. It means the stuff will do what? It will crash automatically. So instead of allowing your um public cloud to crash, why not just use a your private cloud to crash? Why not just use a public cloud and host those things? And for security reason, there is a reason in the first place why you have your own private cloud. You do not make use of your public cloud in the first place. So there are things that you have in your private cloud that you can't expose to the public. So that is the reason why you have your own private cloud in the first place. So if you're having things to do that does not that is not permanent, you can always make use of the private cloud. So organization like that, we call them hybrid, because now they do what? They have their own private cloud and they have what? A public cloud also. And there are some organization that they have their own permanent uh, permanent applications. There are some applications that is completely on the public cloud, while they have some application completely on their own private cloud. So depending on the purpose and the usage of the application, that will determine where it will be hosted, where we'll put it, or what, or or not. If you remember last week Sunday, you see that some people were getting error when they are trying to fill. Is this Sunday or Saturday? I think on Saturday, when some people were trying to fill the attendance sheets to put their name, because um the traffic that is coming to that sheet at that moment is not what is not expected. So that's why you see some people have access to it. Some people tell you that, oh, I can't type. Some people say, oh, I was seeing it, but I can't see my name. My name was there before. My name left this or that, because of the traffic that is doing what coming to that sheet. I don't know if you understand the concept of hybrid cloud now, for the person that asks the question.
Yeah, I do. I do. Thanks.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so let's go on. So you can see now the cloud model, the comparison. Aside from this cloud, hybrid cloud, there is what is called multi-cloud. There is what is called multi-cloud. Multi-cloud is um you don't own any private cloud. You don't have anything private. But let me see what I can relate with. Like everybody will be able to go with. You know, some organization they will tell you buying license from Microsoft is expensive, but you can decide to buy license from Zoho. I'm not sure I want to make use of that example. Let me see. Okay, perfect. So let's make use of this example. You know, in our house now, I just got a new apartment and I'm trying to set up my apartment. So I went to the store, let me say maybe Cash and Carry or somewhere in ShopRite, so to get my electronics. So when I get there, I saw Samsung, LG, and other kind of TV. Probably I want to buy, let me say, is it 50 or 52 inches TV? And Samsung is telling me for me to be able to purchase that TV, I will pay, let me say, a million, a million naira. So I was like, why should I go for Samsung when Nexus, or what is it called now, or iSense give me the same value with what I'm getting from Samsung? Then I decide to buy Nexus um, TV, the flat screen. I got it. So when I get to buy PS5, I don't have choice. PS5 is made by Sony. So I bought Sony PS5. When it's time to get let me see, home theater. So okay, let me see home theater that is good. I look around. I say, okay, let me get LG home theater. So if I brought all these things home, I have my TV, I have my PlayStation, I have my home theater, I have let me say my router again in the house. After setting up everything will do what? They will actually work the way I wanted, but they are from different manufacturers. They are from different manufacturers. So some organization will tell you Microsoft is too expensive, and the licenses are in dollars. And this our country, the price of dollar is what? Fluctuating. So instead of that, maybe we should go for Zoho. Zoho is cheaper and we can do what? Pay in Naira. So for our emailing system and our how should I put it now? Storage, our email storage, that is like, is it work drive or what is it called? And our chatting system, instead of Microsoft Teams, they make use of Click. They will be using Zoho for that. But however, I want to deploy server. So we went to get IBM server. On that IBM server, our virtualization is VMware. Then inside the VMware, we now deploy um, Microsoft Windows. We deploy Windows Server inside of it. We deploy Windows Server inside of it. So we have our own on-prem cloud now. Sorry, we have our own Azure cloud where we host. Sorry, I was to use Azure. So we have our own Azure cloud now where we hosted all those things. We have a server, then we have our what? Our Zoho mailing system. So you see that they are multi-cloud. I have Microsoft somewhere, I have Zoho somewhere. Then maybe next thing I compare the price of Zoho, Microsoft, and Google AWS. I see that no, AWS is more cheaper. So let me go for what? AWS. So that is called multi-cloud. Everything you are just picking anyone that is most suitable for you, maybe due to cost effective. So you are picking from different public cloud services to do what? To to do whatever you want in your organization. Tired of people's chats. So that is that about multi-cloud, though we don't have it here. We don't have it here. So now they are telling us the model and the comparison of having the public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid. You can see for public cloud, no capital expenditures to scale up. For private cloud, hardware must be purchased. You remember when I was giving an example of Black Friday. The second and the hybrid provide most flexibility. So at this stage now, since I need to purchase additional hardware and it will cost me more maintenance, okay, let me deploy it in public cloud, not on private cloud. So the second one, so application can be quickly provisioned and deprovisioned. Organization have complete control over resources and security. A lot of what you have here, some people who don't understand, only those that are already in IT will actually understand some aspect of this. So, but however, if you want to delete your email now, if you want to delete it, you can go there and click on it and tell Google, I'm not doing it again. You can deprovision it, then you move on. But when it comes to private cloud, at times you have to go and take permission from the CTO to the CTA, to the GMD, to the CEO. You go around, get permissions and others before you now even have access to the resources. Then they will tell you, don't delete this part, touch this part, touch that part, and this part. But once it comes to cloud, public cloud, the owner of the equipment, they have their own way of doing things. If you want this, if you are deleting this, all this and this and this is going with it. But in your private cloud now, you can decide, okay, I want to remove this and leave that. So meanwhile, in hybrid cloud, organization determine where to run their application, you can see. And the last part of it, organization pay only for what they use. Only for what they use. Private cloud organization are responsible for hardware maintenance and updates. While in hybrid cloud, organization control security, compliance, and legal equipment. So public cloud is like our MTN. If I get a recharge card now, if I don't use that recharge card to call anybody, data consumption or SMS, that airtime will remain on my mobile. However, in private cloud, people are doing what? They are responsible for the hardware maintenance and updates. So let me use an example, though we are only responsible for the hardware maintenance of this one I want to use. We are not responsible. I think we are responsible for the hardware update also. So if you are using DSTV, you know, either you watch it or not. Once you pay or for subscription, irrespective, what is it called now? It's been consumed, and your dish that you have outside, if anything happens to it, you'll be the one responsible to do what? To change anything. However, for my MTN, if I have issue with my MTN line, I can go to MTN office. They will give me a new SIM. Yes, they will ask me to pay some for airtime. They can say, okay, the SIM is 1,000, and they will give you as airtime in return of the money you do what? You paid. I mean MTN office, not roadside vendors. However, when it comes to DSTV, if anything happens to your dish, you pay for it. If anything happens to your decoder, you pay for it, for replacement or for repair or whatever you want to do. Or my TV I brought to my house, anything that happens to it, I pay for it after the warranty time has elapses. So, however, in hybrid cloud, organization can have security control because they can now decide, as I said earlier, this is what we want in cloud, this is what we want in private cloud, and this is what we want in our public cloud. It's like you going out, you have a lot of load, probably you are relocating, you have loads to carry. So you can say, okay, I'll put this in public transport, maybe GIG, all these belongings, maybe my mattress, my what is it called, my desk and others. I put it in GIG, while my flat screen, my laptop and others, I'll put it in my car. However, other people that I have in the house, since there is no space in the car again, will order Uber or Bolt, so they will enter those ones. You can see that we make use of everything. The load that are too much, instead of me destroying my car, I did what? Or decide to sell my car and go and purchase a bigger space car or get a bus. I decided to give it to a public cloud, which is GIG, to do what? To do the transporting for me. Then I put the little things, my laptop, those things that are fragile in my own car. However, when we were done, there was no space for people to sit again. We did what? We ordered Uber. We ordered Uber for those people to do what? To join. So I'm just giving illustration of how the public, the private, and the hybrid cloud do what work. So in in this concept, the public cloud is okay. I'm going with GIG. I don't have a car, so I will join the GIG bus that is transporting my belongings to my destination. In private cloud, now I'm an completely a tribe in Nigeria. We call them economics. Now I want to start moving all my things alone. So I put it in my private car and I started moving my things one after the other. However, in hybrid, I put some things in my car, then I put other things in the GIG um, bus to do what, to convey it down to where we are going. So once I'm making use of my car and GIG, then we call it what? Hybrid cloud. So if you have that concept in your head, then you'll be able to explain it better. So the last part that we'll be talking about today is what we have on the screen. So we have the capex and we have the opex. We have the capex and we have the opex. So as the name sounds, capital expenditure, then operational expenditure. So once you hear opex, what should come to your mind always is what? Cloud, public cloud, public cloud, public cloud, public cloud. When you hear capex, what should come to your head? Private cloud, private cloud, private cloud, private cloud. Are we getting it? So if you look at what we have on the screen, the upfront spending of money on physical infrastructure. You go to buy, if you are setting up a data center now, if you are doing, maybe it's within your building, there is a way they do the flooring. It's not the way we do our normal flooring after putting your tile and everything. I've forgotten what it's called now. Have to be on the floor because there are some cables that have to pass underneath. So they run cable underneath everything that we have there. So we have to start from there. Then you get your servers, you get your switches, you get your cables, you get your racks, you get your, we are going to use solar system, you get your solar systems. What else are we getting now? We have to have a security door, have a security personnel. What else? All those expenditures together is what we are seeing, the capex. So you can see the other part of capex. Costs from capex have value that's reduced over time. It's like you going to buy server that was built by IBM 20 years ago and you want to use it now. So if I buy server 20 years ago, there is high chances that now I will not be able to use it. Even if I decide to upgrade what I have in it, there are some applications or there are some operating system virtualization that will not even run, that will not run on it, because as at then the model and the kind of virtualization or the kind of OS they were running on servers then are completely different from what we have now. Are completely different from what you have now. So the value can reduce with time. And most of those servers then they have HDD. They have HDD, not SSD like the way we have it now. So for operational expenditure, you can see spend on product and services as needed, pay as you go, get billed immediately. It's pay as you go. So anything you are not paying, anything you are not using, you are not doing what? You are not paying for it. But in CapEx, you have gotten everything already. Either you are using it or not, it's none of their own business. You've gotten it, you've gotten it. So you have to do what? Maintain it also. So we'll stop there for today so we can attend to people that are having an issue connecting to the class. So if you have questions, you can go ahead, please.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Olajide.
Yes, boss, I'm with you. You can go ahead, please.
Cloud
Hello.
and
We are saying something. We can't hear
environment
you.
is a.
Can you start again?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, it's my network. I say, can we say there is a difference between hybrid cloud and hybrid environment? Like, okay, for example, now maybe there's a particular company, they have their own infrastructure like on-prem environment, and they have a server, a virtual machine that is created on the cloud. Can we say there is a two difference between a hybrid cloud and hybrid environment? I don't know if you get my question.
I didn't get your question, but let me try to rephrase. They have on-premise. I don't want to use the word on-premise because of people that are just coming in. That's why I'm using words that they can relate with. But you said they have on-premise and the server is deployed on-premise.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
you can go ahead.
and
The network is bad. Your network is bad.
yeah,
Your network is bad. Can you type?
my
Can
network
you
is
type
bad.
it? Yes, can you type
I
it?
don't have access to the chat.
It means you not join with you not
Gmail
join with
accounts.
you join with your Gmail account. That is the reason.
So the chat is not accessible.
Yes, because you join with your Gmail account, not the right account. Or you can change your network and can ask your question.
Hello, good evening.
Oh yeah, I'm with you. You can go ahead, please.
Mentor GD, my name is Tunde. I have a quick question as regards your earlier explanation for
Okay.
hybrid, and multi multi-cloud. So is hybrid, from your explanation, hybrid is different from multi-cloud. But on your slides, there is no detailing on multi-cloud. So
Yes, I just chip that in that there is something as multi-cloud. I just chip it in. So multi-cloud is me using multiple public cloud. You know, hybrid is I'm using private and public. But
okay,
in the concept of public, I have a lot of in concept of multi, I have a lot of public clouds I'm using. You know, in Nigeria, especially when you have CEO or that studies maybe economics or anything related to finance, if you bring this, they will tell you no, it's too expensive, cut it down. Then you know that okay, we can't use this public cloud you are using for this service currently. Let's go for something cheaper. So in that instance, you can have like 3, 4, 5 public clouds with different things hosted around or different services they are
okay,
providing to you.
understood,
Okay.
Good evening, sir.
understood, understood. Thank you very much.
Hello, good evening, Mr.
Remember
Chidi.
us.
I actually don't understand this CapEx and OPEX.
CAPEX
So
and OPEX.
aside comparing it, aside comparing them rather, what does it actually mean? Because I asked on the chat, what does it mean? Because what you just did is to compare the two of them. So that's where my
So
confusion.
so they are just telling us let me just say benefit of we did the comparison. If you remember the last slide before this one was the comparison hybrid, private, then the public. So now they are now telling us when it comes to the financial aspect of it, where you will spend more and where you spend less. So once a year operational expenditure, so it means you are paying for a what? A public cloud services. But when you hear capital expenditure, you are paying for a private cloud. So which I now explain. If you look at the explanation, if you want to come up with a private cloud now, you buy your server up front now. You go and buy your server first. buy your switches, buy everything you want to buy together. Get maybe an expert that will be able to rack everything, set it up, do everything. So you have to have the money up front for you to be able to do what? To do it. You get it?
Okay, okay, okay.
And the second part of it for the CAPEX, the value reduce. Imagine laptop you bought, let's say like when I was in 200 level, somebody dashed me a laptop, Dell Inspiron, dual core. Dual core. I'm one of the big boys in class. Know what dual core means then? Double processor with blue casing. My laptop has blue casing. If I bring out that laptop now, I'm sure even the net's been on it. If I want to open it, I'm not sure I can even run any application this time again on it. So the same thing goes to those infrastructures. That's why you see some organization, they will just keep patching up things, because if they want to buy those servers now, is what is expensive. Meanwhile, OPEX at the other end is pay as you go. I can buy MTN airtime of 1,000 and I can decide to use it for 1 year. But I don't call, I don't send text message, and my data did not consume my airtime. My airtime remains my airtime on my phone, on my line, sorry. I can always use it to call at any time. Meanwhile, let's now use our phone as the CAPEX, irrespective of the airtime and everything. A time will come, even the camera of your phone, by the time you snap, you yourself, you'll be ashamed to show others what you snap from that phone, because as time goes on, the value of that phone reduces over time. So let's use our MTN SIM as our OPEX and our phone as our CAPEX. You get it now.
Yes, I understand you. Thank you, sir.
Welcome, boss. So any other question, please?
Yes, Mr. Jide, thank you very much for your explanation and the time. Please, I just want to ask, for those that have no issue, can they take a leave?
For those that have no issue, yes, at the end of the class, once there's no question again, you can take your leave.
Okay.
So any other question? As a matter of fact, I'm not sure, aside from, I think Mr. Admenga corrected, the only person that has issue here is Mr. Samuel, if I'm right.
So I just want to ask if we can get the slide so that we can all and also go through it.
Well, I would have loved to
Let's
give you
okay.
this slide. I would have loved to give you this slide, but it's Microsoft MCT. What is it called? Slides now, so we are not allowed to give it out. We are not allowed to give it out.
Boss.
I'm with you. You can go ahead.
I just wanted to know, maybe we can have a sneak peek to what we should be expecting tomorrow, like a schedule, so we can prepare our mind, or we can also on our own make some research before we come to the class by tomorrow.
You can always make research after the class now. But for now, all what we still be talking about is basic things that we needs to know about the infrastructure, cloud, computing. Because if you don't know these things, by the time you start other things and you start mentioning, um, let's go to this VNet, change your IP from class C to class A, and go to your server and do this, and you'll be looking at them. I'm actually speaking English, but you can't understand what I'm saying. So all these concepts are things that we need to do what to understand, know them, then before we now get to, okay, on your system, go to this place, let's set up this, let's set up that. It gets me now.
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Welcome, boss.
All right. Hello, sir. Hello, can you hear
I'm
me?
with you. You can go ahead. Yes, please.
All right, so we only talked about this one is just types of so where does the SARS and the PASS and the this where do they fall in
Policy. We'll
these
get there.
types of cloud? Eh?
We'll get there.
Oh, okay. Thank you, sir.
We'll get there. Yeah. So I don't want to bug us. Now I told you that IT training is always boring. So I'm doing as much as I can so that people don't get bored and everybody is carried along. So tomorrow I will not be available. Victor will be the one to take us. I have other commitments for the same 7 to 9 p.m. So I will not be joining the meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, hello, boss.
I'm with you.
Yeah, I have a concern. I'm trying to access the chat, but I'm having in channel meeting, only members of the team have access to the chat. But I joined with the Wisdom Way account. Hope that's not a problem.
Check your account very well. I'm not sure you join. If you join with it,
Yeah,
you'll be
you
able to see
can.
it.
Yeah, I joined with it. You can verify. That's what I'm actually speaking with. Like, that's what I joined it now. You can verify.
Let me see. Others that join with
The same thing is applying to me too. I can't access the chat, and when I try to on my Outlook on my laptop, if I try to click on Teams, it's telling me that because I received 2 emails that last week. Then if I click on that one that has Teams, it's saying that I don't have permission or something, that I should contact administrator. That's what I keep getting. So I had to join with my phone, but I don't have access to chat on my phone.
Yeah, I had to get the link to join somehow. Now I tried to access the chat of this meeting, and I'm getting only members of the team have
can
access to
others
it.
access the chat? Okay, I can see some people can send.
Yes, I can access the chat.
Can access the chat. So what is happening? What is happening? Or do you have another account that is signing on your mobile? If you have another account on your Teams, on the Teams you have on your,
No,
it
I'm
might be
actually doing
conflicting
things on the web. It's on the web and
on
also
the
in
web.
private. Yeah, in private.
Person said is on PC. Okay, we'll look into that. Though that is not a call for concern that much, anyway. But we'll look into it. I'll try to reproduce it and see if I get the same issue, and I'll let you know. I'll drop it in the WhatsApp group to let everybody know. So aside from
Okay.
that, if you don't have any concerns again, then we can call it a day. Let me go and battle with those that are having issues joining the class. Thank you. Enjoy.